I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body. And that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to GuruTalk. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined today by my good friend Milos Sarcev. What's going on out there in Cali? Are the gyms still closed, or are they open? What's going on?
You forgot, Dave, I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, you're in Vegas, right? Everyone's moving to Vegas.
Yeah, gyms are open. Everything is as it should be, normal so far.
Yeah.
A little bit restrictions, but I hear that all over the world again we are getting tough times coming.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the Europeans, Milos, will shut things down in like the snap of a finger. You know, is that? I mean, you come from Europe. Is that the European mentality? Very fear-based.
Yes, I mean, of course, you see Nordic countries like Sweden, even when everybody else was locking down before they refused to do it. You know, then you have a Russia that is much stricter than anybody else. As a matter of fact, they're supposed to have a conference in Moscow last May, and then when they had to postpone it, I said, okay, maybe by the end of the year or by this May. And they already in May 2020 told me this is not going to be over until at least the end of 2021,
right.
Which at that time was a shocker for me.
Yeah.
My country of Serbia, they had the police lockdowns, for example. From 5 a.m., 5 p.m., nobody can be out. If you are out, you're going to be arrested. And they were being arrested. Even some famous soccer players, they play in like Real Madrid or some other big teams. So they really take it seriously. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think of when all this thing happened? I will tell you, I was at training camp tour with Ben Pakulski. We went to Dubai first, Melbourne and Sydney. And even when I was going there, I mean, I developed crazy cough, that dry cough that would just not stop like 500 times a day. It was ridiculous. I couldn't even, talk at the seminars because I was coughing constantly. And that took about 2 weeks. It was so disturbing. And I'm 100% convinced I actually had it. But, when you have that adrenaline going, you have to,
of course,
finish your work. I finished the work. There was nothing really to it. But last training camp of the tour, we're supposed to go to Bali, Indonesia, and they canceled it because of the COVID. I came back here in March, and when all these things start happening, even myself at first I didn't consider it seriously. You see these conspiracy theories and all kinds of stuff that is circulating around.
Right.
But since that I have some good friends that died from it, right? And I mean, my age or younger. And then as it hit me, I'm sure after the Miss Olympia, I came back. I had it, my girlfriend, my both training partners, Matt Maldonado and Errol, his girlfriend. I mean, you heard Dexter Jackson, Kamal, and everybody else.
Right.
So it is real, but
so you've had it. So you've had it twice, essentially, Milos.
Yeah, I do believe so. First time it was not registered because I didn't go for testing. Right. I was traveling, but the symptoms were exactly the same. I mean, I'm usually healthy. I don't cough and all that. Right. There was coughing that, I mean, you would probably slap me because
like it was annoying cough. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Dry, unproductive cough. Yeah.
But you see, the thing here, I did the Monday Instagram Live with Dennis James, and I felt perfectly okay. About 1 hour later, I just like, oh my God, I'm so goddamn tired, and I fall asleep, and I wake up next day. The best feeling I can describe is if somebody, puts the big needle and a huge syringe, and they just suck out all your energy, like fatigue.
Wow.
Like I can't even describe it. I'm serious. it was effort getting off the bed, going to the bathroom. And the last thing that I wanted to do is eat. I mean, I had a sense of taste, but I had a zero appetite first time in my life.
Wow.
And that was like for about 5 days, obviously coughing and high temperature. You know, I was doing oximeter to see my oxygenation, and it was down to like 91, 92.
Oh, wow,
like,
that's low. That's very low.
Yeah, so it was concerning. But after the first 5 days, I mean, I started feeling a little bit better. And then I consulted Chris Cormier. Chris had it back in March of last year. And I said, how long the symptoms linger around? And he says, Milos, I'm still not okay. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I see now what he's saying, because about 2 weeks ago, I got back in the gym. I want to train again. And, you know, I can't breathe. You know, like, again, I'm a fatigue.
Yeah.
Strength is zero. You know, so there are some effects.
Do you think that your lung tissue has been damaged? I mean, especially the fact that you've had it twice. And that's what I worry about. I don't worry about the initial infection, because I think we eat healthy, we take vitamins, you know. I think you can get over that. It's the residual effects of the stuff, whether it be the fibrosis in the lungs or the vasculature damage that it's causing to the organs and stuff like that. That bothers me more, especially the clotting. Guy Cisternino had a leg clot, you know, a month after getting over COVID. So that's why I think it's dangerous, you know.
That's the scariest part, yes. I mean, the respiratory issues, and if respiratory system is compromised and shut down, and then shut down again, and then for months you don't feel right, I mean, how much damage you're really creating.
Right.
You know, so it is very, very scary. Now, my training partner, Matt, for example, he says if he didn't lose the sense of taste and smell, he wouldn't even know that he had it. I was like so mild, you know, and then I hear, you know, some even much more severe cases than me.
Yeah.
I had actually pleasure. I heard that Mountain Thor,
yeah,
you know, after Dubai, he got it. So I just wanted to send him list of my supplements that I took that you know, made me better.
Yeah.
And
what was your little cocktail that you used?
I'm sorry?
What was your little supplement cocktail you used?
Yeah. First, I would take like 50,000 units of vitamin D daily.
Okay.
10 to 20,000 vitamin A. I was taking 100 milligrams of zinc, not 30 or 50, but you know, 100.
Chelated zinc, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was taking N-acetylcysteine, like 2 grams.
Yeah.
I was doing vitamin C, large amounts, like 3 grams. What else? Coenzyme CoQ10. I was doing L-carnitines.
Right.
I was doing, and then normal multivitamins,
sure,
omegas, and all these things. But I think that selenium, I can't even think of right now of everything. That's another thing that you're gonna get from COVID. My brain is super slow. I can't even speak my language. Like the other day.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah, it's like a little bit confusing. I don't know. Maybe neurons are not firing quickly enough.
Right.
Yeah. So
maybe the blood supply got compromised a little bit there too. So it's possible. Low oxygen levels. You don't think as clearly. You know.
Yes.
You know, they say in space you get like a little spacey sometimes, because sometimes the oxygen, you know, content could be a little variable there, and you know, because you're basically breathing canned air essentially, you know.
Yesterday I put something on the stove that didn't supposed to. I almost put the, you know, house on fire. It was.
You've already been on fire once before, Milos, so you don't need to burn yourself up again, you know.
That's it. I had it once.
Yeah, my supplement stack that I tell people is chelated minerals are very important, because they're bound to amino acids. They're way more absorbable. Zinc, chelated zinc, obviously. I just have people use my V mineralized formula because it has all the minerals in there and the vitamins in very high dosages. I also believe in the omegas. Like you said, I have the people use my omega-lyzed formula because that will inhibit clotting, so you're not going to get the clotting issues that go along with COVID. Also, I have people drink diet tonic water, 6 ounces 3 times a day, because the quinine in the tonic water will help your body absorb the zinc better. And we know that zinc inhibits, as long as the zinc gets into the cell, we know it inhibits the replication of the COVID virus. Also, intracellular melatonin levels, not the melatonin that's produced by the pineal gland, but intracellular melatonin is greatly diminished with COVID. So taking a melatonin supplement before bed, 3 milligrams, is really important. I have my Somalized nighttime sleep product has melatonin in it. I tell people to take that at night. You're absolutely right with the vitamin D. You definitely want to bang that down because that's really important. And vitamin C is great for your immune system. So yeah, I think 3,000 milligrams is perfect. But I found that the zinc with the tonic water, the diatonic water, seems to have the most effect at having people recover quicker, because you're inhibiting the replication of the virus. And so I've given that little cocktail to a lot of people, and they seem to say, you know what, I've had almost no symptoms and gotten over it quickly.
Now that you say it, maybe you're going to get into the conspiracy theory, that you're the one of producers of the COVID. And
there you go, right, because I'm trying to sell more supplements. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes. Well,
what about the vaccine, Milos? Are you going to take the vaccine when it comes out?
I would do it right now, right this moment. I discussed this with my sister.
I know she's a doctor, right?
Yeah. Doctor, laparoscopic surgeon in a hospital, and professor of medical university. And as soon as I even question her, would you do it? And then she says, like, okay, that's equivalent. If you ask me, am I going to ever drink the water again? I said, yeah, of course, vaccine is for that. So, why don't you take it? She already got it.
Which vaccine does she like, Milos? Which one?
Well, she got the Pfizer one.
Okay.
Pfizer one. You see, now, you got to understand Serbia, where I'm from, a lot of people are maybe anti-American,
yeah,
and pro-Russian.
Okay.
Because we are Slavic countries, and
yeah.
Even though both America and Russia were allies for us in World War II, we are a little bit more connected to the Russians.
Okay.
And Russians came with the 2 vaccines. I think Chinese got with the 2 vaccines, and then there's also now that Moderna. And so my mom, obviously being a patriot and waiting for Russian, she waited for Russian. My aunt, on the other hand, did the Chinese one. I mean, really, at this point, because I already experienced it twice, and they say I can get again maybe 3, 4, 5 months from now.
Yeah.
And I'm quite exposed to the people. You see, I don't know why you didn't go to the Olympia, but obviously it was the right decision for you.
Milos, that's why I didn't go, because I didn't want to get COVID. All you guys got COVID. I knew that I couldn't expose my family. I got 3 young kids,
Yeah, realistically, you were super safe. Before I went there, my girlfriend said, like, you're going to get COVID. It's like, yeah, well, we're going to be careful. But yeah, when you're there for 5 days, interact with the audience, take pictures, take a mask off, shake hands, right? Hug. It was just waiting to happen. I was there with Dexter. I don't know if you've seen the video.
Yeah.
We were like face to face. God knows if I gave him or he gave me,
It was inevitable. People don't understand. Masks are good. So like if you go to the supermarket, you wear a mask. If someone sneezes or there's particles in the air, it could prevent you from getting it. If you're hanging out with people all day long, those masks don't do anything. You're gonna get it. If you're hanging out close, you're sitting in a chair next to someone and they got it, there's no way you're not getting it. It's very, very transmissible. And I know, I'm like you, Milos. If I'm at a show, everyone's going to be all around me and talking to me, and there would have been no way I didn't get it. And so that's why I made that decision. You don't think I wanted to go to the Olympia? I love the Olympia. Of course I want to go to the Olympia. But at the same time, I'm concerned about my family. And I got health issues. I got an enlarged aorta. I don't want to have any vascular problems from this. Like I said, I'm more afraid of the residual effects of it than I am from the initial infection of the virus, because I think I'd probably get over the virus quickly. I just think that the residual effects might be something that I'm not looking to add to my list of medical issues. And so I think when we
touch that subject, I commend you for making that decision.
Yeah.
I know that how much you wanted to be the Olympia, and you didn't for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I went there knowing that I'm gonna probably get it, and I got it. But how this all started? You remember in the Arnold Classic?
Yeah.
Earlier we went there, and then they informed us there's gonna be no expo. I said okay, but they organized athletes meeting, and another athletes meeting, the like press conference, meet the athletes.
Right.
And meeting the athletes means that all these fans, right? That we all love fans, of course. We wanted to interact, but they all want to shake hands and take pictures.
Of course.
I mean, I see that there is where is that? I mean, I'm a very people person, and there was actually at Olympia, the guy comes to me to take a picture, and I take my mask off, and he doesn't take a mask off. I say, man, what are you doing?
Right.
You want a picture with me? Let's take it without it, right?
Right.
And then, of course, you shake hands, and there you go.
Yeah, no,
so how do we overcome this for this year's shows? I mean, I like the idea that we have an audience, but it should be some additional measures that, look, there's a couple of hundred people that we probably know that got COVID at Olympia.
Yeah. Are you nervous about going to a show without getting vaccinated first?
I would be. I mean, I would know that I'm going to get it for sure, but I'm going to find a vaccine. If not here, I'm going to fly to Serbia and get it.
What now? The Johnson & Johnson vaccine that's coming out is supposed to be a one-shot deal. Now, I don't know if they're going to have to eventually do a booster shot to that, but that seems like it's a little easier than having to do the two-shot, those messenger RNA ones, the mRNA vaccines. I don't know. I would like to see. I'd like to get it quickly, but I at the same time, there's not a lot of data yet. So, like, if you're not leaving the house, like I don't leave it, I think I'm going to wait for 6 months and see how people respond to the various ones.
Yeah. How many people die?
Well, I don't think people are going to die. I know they say Hank Aaron died from it. Who knows? Yeah. I think what's happening is I think the worst part of the vaccine is not that it's not safe. I think they're 100% safe for most people. I think the problem is, do they work? In other words, are you going to actually be immune? Because now they got new strains coming out and everything like that. So it might not actually be effective, and that's where I think that the problem lies. Because once people get vaccinated, they're going to think, okay, now I can go out. I don't have to worry about anything. And then before you know it, you got COVID again because you got a different strain of it coming from South Africa or wherever it's coming from.
Yeah. I mean, listen, as far as taking it once or twice, when you're talking to a bodybuilder that we injected ourselves 2,000 times, right, once or twice doesn't make a difference. Right. But for normal people, I heard from many that some of the Pfizer would be like super painful, and I mean, I don't know if people are just soft nowadays. Yeah. We've got 3 days, he couldn't move his arm, and he's in so much pain and stuff like that, right? But then my girlfriend always research everything, and then he should just send me the link. I don't know how many people die from a vaccine, especially like older people. Yeah. Now, here in the U.S., 75 and older are getting first. Right. And then I'm talking to my Chinese friend, and he goes, no, they're giving up to 59 years old first because over 59, 60 is like kind of risky and dangerous. Like, what? Yeah, so it makes you wonder. But you know that very well. Any new medicament, approved or not, if it's new, needs to spend a long time, months and years, right, to establish all the side effects. So we don't know now. And I understand your position. You're not leaving the office much, so wait for 6 months. I need to travel. So, I mean, I will get it today. If you send me the link right now to any lab that is doing it, I would drive off and go there.
I think I might have a link for you. So, you know what? Here's my issue. It's like, remember when flat screen TVs came out? They first came out with plasma TVs, if you remember. And then after plasmas, they came out with LCD, the flat screens. And there was like a standard. They were fighting over who was going to have the right standard. And then eventually the LCD screens prevailed. Plasmas went out the window. And now we have a standard, flat screen TV format. And they've perfected the technology now. So I feel like we're in that initial phase. Like, do I want to get the plasma TV or do I want to get the LCD? If I get the plasma TV, maybe they'll find out in 6 months to a year that wasn't the right one to get. Now I got to get another vaccine, So, who knows? I think that it is premature. I think for older people who have, vulnerabilities and have high risk factors, it's a good idea to take the vaccine. For people like healthcare workers who have to be in that environment anyway and don't have a choice, they got to take the vaccine. If you don't have to take it and you're not like being exposed, I think that waiting is not necessarily a bad thing. You want to go travel, so obviously you need to take a vaccine because you can't afford to get that thing for a third time. And so I think it really depends on what your lifestyle is and what you're doing. I know bodybuilders, they don't leave the house. They have a gym in their house. They go to the supermarket, once a week like I do, and that's it. And so for those people, their exposure is minimal at this point.
You know how you have that Apple Health app on the phone?
Yeah.
And then it counts your steps.
Yeah.
Well, I was averaging like 50 steps a day. It's like, I'm serious. That's like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Probably burning 7 calories total.
Yeah.
So at Jap, I was really trying to get jacked for the Olympia. I was like 252. And
really?
Then came down to 228.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's pretty big for you, 252. When was the last time you were 252?
But listen, somebody just mentioned, Milos, you're old. But I trained with Hidetari Yamagishi for the contest, right?
Right.
And so when I train with him, I can't have one workout for him and I'm going to do something else. So just, get in the fire and do what you're supposed to. So that was another Olympia preparation for me. Now I have like 2 young guys going for Jay Cutler Classic, and I'm training with them, and it's the same thing. It's like, man, maybe I don't need this, because intensity is really getting me nowadays. I guess that's why they say when you're older, you have to be much wiser.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Let's talk about the Olympia, because I never really got your opinion on the Olympia.
Yeah.
You obviously, we got Big Ramy as the new champion for those people who've been living in a sandcastle or something like that for the last 6 months. But let me ask you this question: if you had to assess Big Ramy's ultimate reveal of what he brought to the stage, where would you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Compared to him previously, or
compared to his best, what in your mind, you can see it being his best.
Well, you see, okay, and I'm glad you asked me this question. I didn't think about it, but let's analyze it, because you're very analytical. You remember all the shows.
Yeah.
We all know Ramy's potential since the first time he stepped on the pro stage in 2013 in New York. Tremendous structure with X-frame, V-taper, tight abs, crazy legs.
Right.
But it was always lacking the detail and conditioning. There was a few times that he broke. I think that Chris Aceto worked with him 1 year. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there was Arnold Classic in Europe that he brought it pretty good. But he missed it so many times that people were just looking, if he just dries out and comes like this, it's going to be no contest. And this is pretty much how it ended up being. Even though after prejudging, he was still running for first, second place with Phil. Phil was just 3 points behind. But I think at the finals, that was very, very visible. Now, what was this the best of Ramy? I would still say, because the detail from side, that hamstring glutes tie-in, was better than normal. There was little more striations going that I criticized him before.
Yeah.
But you see, when he stands next to Hadi Chupan, who had a super striated chest,
right,
then you can explore, look at this.
Right.
So I think, of course, he has established right now as a front runner and a guy to beat. Is he super safe there? No. I mean, he's going to have a lot of battles. I think, really, if Kai comes back, Kai could give him run for money right there. Hadi Chupan, just a little bit bigger and then spectacular conditioning, could be a contender. And as I mentioned, Hadi Chupan, I want to say this, and I'm sure that you noticed it, because we all ask for more comparisons, okay? There was, in the beginning, top 5 comparison without Hadi.
Okay.
Hadi was not in the group of top 5.
Right.
That was the moment. So with the old judging, okay, he would be out of top 5 because they give you one chance, they judge these people.
Right.
But then because they did prolong it and they bring him back and he, get up. And then what happened? At the finals, every single judge saw him being second, beating Phil beating Brandon. I mean, that tells you how close it is between the guys, and should
Right.
you compare them more? So, well, I salute them for doing so much more comparisons already, but they focused on the first group. They didn't really focus on the second group.
Yeah.
If they did also the second group, I think they would be moving around a little bit. And listen, all the audience wants to see it. I understand that the judges tired, maybe they want to stop it, but I would just encourage them. That's another 10 minutes.
Sure.
In 10 minutes, you can do another 2-3 comparison and make everybody happy.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question, and I hate these hypotheticals because they really have no world application, but it's fun to speculate anyway. You look at a guy, obviously Ramy's got more mass than anyone on the stage. He's got no gaps in his physique. The only thing I see that has really changed over the last 7 years is maybe his waist has gotten bigger. His taper is not quite as good as it was probably when he was a little younger, but that happens to everyone. When you compare a guy, if you had a guy like Sean Roden in the lineup when he won the Olympia, okay, with Ramy, who do you think wins that comparison? Because they're totally different physiques, you know?
Yeah, you see, I'm the purist. Okay, sorry.
I got Milos so nervous, excited about this comparison. He
No, it's a
turned
phone
off
call.
his camera. There you go.
What? Yeah, there was a phone call and I couldn't get off of it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So, I'm the purist, and I'm going to give you the best possible example, and I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You tell me, 1998, 1999, or 2003, Ronnie Coleman?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'm because 98, 99, Coleman was spectacular with conditioning and was spectacular with structure and shape and smaller waist. But in 2003 was ridiculous because he was so big. Even though his waist was a little blown out, but he was personally 03, because I think we all as bodybuilders want to see the greatest development we could possibly see with the insanest conditioning. The only reason why I don't think it's a good comparison is because I think that Coleman's conditioning in 03 was as good as it was in 98. So he just he had a lot more muscle on his body. That's all.
Yeah, but that means that muscle size is a primary requirement. I said this because now you say Ramy is maybe getting a little bit wider waist with all this size, and that's exactly what was happening with Ronnie. Ronnie 98 was, for me, most spectacular version. The best conditioning, his waist was in, and he had enough muscle mass. So at which point we say enough is enough. So 98 Ronnie comparing to 2017 Sean Roden, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ronnie was still getting on size a little bit, and conditioning was spectacular. So this is kind of physique that, of course, I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
IBB judging made this new class, classic physique, especially because of it, to bring back the beauty. Okay, so does it mean that now bring back the beauty into classic, but bodybuilding is going to be a judge again, just, let's go for a size? When Dorian arrived and get this crazy size, he sent a message to everybody else to get just as big. And then judges were looking at that. All the other guys tried to emulate what Dorian was looking. So now Steve Blackman was saying, like, oh, yeah, now is the era of freaks again, right?
Yeah.
So, that's potentially, a danger. For me, it's a danger because, again, it's going to be just putting the more mass, more mass, which I don't think is the right thing.
Right.
I think that Sean Roden's physique was spectacular. It's pretty much as close to perfect as can be. So can, what is this, 30, 40 pounds lesser in body weight than Ramy? Yeah. Can he still contest Ramy? I think he can.
I think that might be the only person who could unseat Ramy. Assuming Ramy comes in his best condition every year, I think a Sean Roden coming out of retirement, if he still got it, I don't know. I know he's been training, everything like that. I think Roden can exploit some of Ramy's, weaknesses, which he doesn't have many weaknesses. His only weakness might be the fact that he doesn't have as pretty a midsection as Roden, and the that X frame that Rodin has is kind of it's funny because you see Rodin standing alone and he's really not that impressive, and you put him in a lineup of these guys and he makes everyone look terrible,
Yeah, but I tell you, if you really analyze Hadi Chupin, it's maybe unthinkable because he's supposed to be like 212-pound guy last year.
Right.
He could do each, but when he stands next to Rami, you don't see that much of the muscle mass discrepancy because he's wide and he knows how to pose. When he open up, especially that front and back lat spread, I mean, he's giving Rami a run for the money.
Right. Do you think that Hadi will? Because I interviewed Hani Rambod, and he said that if you heard I don't know if you watched the interview, if you saw what Hadi Chupin had to go through to get to the U.S. to compete in the Olympia, I mean, it was almost like a story out of a movie. I mean, they were basically living in the Dubai consulate there, trying to print out visas and passports, and it was insane the amount of travel he had to do to get here and eating airport food and ridiculousness. So, I mean, if the guy got here 3 weeks early this coming year for the Olympia, I mean, could he potentially beat Rami, or is he, once again, a smaller version of Rami? And Rami, if he comes in good, is just always going to beat a Hadi Chupin.
Yeah, look at the judges gave Hadi straight second place after at the finals.
Yeah,
and they gave him just straight seconds. They didn't really even compare him much to Rami because now Rami won the contest and Hadi had to work it up, and there was enough courage from the judges to put Hadi above Brandon and Phil.
right.
But now when he's coming as a potentially second place and you analyze them pose by pose, I think that Rami just had more of that polishment, the striations, tie-ins, hard muscle density, right? Rami is definitely bigger and has that great structure. But Hadi is the contender. And Dennis Jens will tell you that himself.
Yeah. What I find interesting also about the lineup is, if you think about it, take Phil out of the equation. I don't think we'll see him on the Olympia stage anymore. Aside from Brandon Curry, who happens to be training over there in the Middle East, everyone else in that lineup is kind of like from outside the United States. Why is it that we're not seeing the top U.S. guys in the top 5 at the Olympia anymore? What's going on?
Yeah.
Are more people gravitating towards classic physique, you think?
No, I think that hardcore bodybuilders are going to always be hardcore bodybuilders. Look, I love classic bodybuilding from the 70s and 80s, of course. And this is I wanna make it clear. We had that prediction for the Olympia, and we were talking about classic physique, and you were stating that for you, Chris Bumstead is exactly what they're looking for, and he's going to dominate for 10 years.
Yeah.
At that time, really. What I tell you, I don't think he deserved to win 2019. I think that Breon and George Peterson did beat him in that contest. So I was pointing out some weaknesses like back and arms, and I said still bodybuilding show. And then I made that comment, no bodybuilding show Chris Bumstead could beat them. But then this year he shows up, and I completely have to eat my words. He was. Seriously, and I say when I'm wrong, he improved so much that he filled up that perfect frame, and now there was all of a sudden not just that he beats them in classic physique rules, he would beat them in bodybuilding contests as well. Because he had that combination of size, V taper and conditioning and presentation. I also think he's a phenomenal poser. So to make it clear, I still don't understand. Why really we have a height to weight ratios, because if you look classic, you look classic, and I don't know, a lot of guys, they would look classic, perfectly classic, but would be 10 pounds overweight, and now because of that scale limit eliminates them.
Because what happens, Milos, is then they become one division, like what happened with women's bodybuilding and women's physique. It's the same division essentially. You have to have some kind of barrier to keep it separate, No,
but I have about 10 possible clients. They're looking picture perfect classic. Okay, let me ask you: would I be with my smaller 92, 93, 94, 95 version? Would I be good for classic?
No. No, because
yes
you are a hardcore bodybuilder with nice structure. There's a difference. Was Tony Freeman a classic bodybuilder? But by definition he is, but he's enormous. The guy was 280 pounds on stage, so he's an open bodybuilder. I think that they're not mutually exclusive. In other words, just because Tony has a classic look doesn't make him a classic bodybuilder because he's too big. So you have to keep a separation there. Otherwise, the two classes start to look the same, and the classic guys dominate both classes that way.
Yeah, but then Chris Bumstead can be too big as well, comparing to Torrance, right?
No, he can't because you know what? He's got to make a weight class. So if he makes the weight, then he fits in.
Yeah, but the reason why I mentioned myself, I think a lot of people said 92, 93, 94. Oh, that's perfect. If you had a classic, you would dominate that era. I said I would never make the weight.
No,
I was like 5'10", and I was 237.
People don't look. I stood next to you. I spent a lot of time with you. You were big. The problem was you were competing in an era of mass monsters with Nasser and Paul Dillette and Dorian. If you were competing today, you'd fit in perfect. I mean, no one would say you're too small because the guys aren't as big today. Not some of them are, but there's not the monsters you had back then dominating. You would be perfect in the open division now. Hadi Chupin is certainly not huge, right? And he's placing almost second at the Olympia. So Brandon Curry's not huge, and he won the Olympia. So, I mean, you were unfortunately in the wrong era. You should have been competing in this era. You probably would have been, top 5 at the Olympia every year,
Yeah, I was born late, too early. What do you think of Rolly Winkler? What would he need to bring next year? Is the streamed look that you actually comment you were agreeing, or the big look, considering that he's going to have to be matching the size with Remy?
I don't think I've ever seen Rulli look small. So I think even an extremely conditioned Rulli Winkler is still going to be probably one of the biggest guys on stage. No one's going to match Ramy size-wise, and if you go after that goal of trying to be outmass him, you'll never come in conditioning. Rulli Winkler shredded will look bigger than he does when he comes into these shows, and you're like, if he was a little lighter, he would have been perfect. He's going to look even bigger because he's going to look ridiculous. And he has what a lot of guys don't have. He has mature, separated, freaky muscle. When he hits that side tricep pose, I mean, his tricep, you can stick your fingers between the striations. There's no one else out there who's got that anymore because most guys shoot their arms up. They lose they lose all that, freakiness. He's got a lot of dense muscle. He does not need to get any bigger. He just needs to do what Ramy did, get shredded. And if he does, I think he can knock Ramy off. I think he can beat Ramy. I'm not saying he's going to beat... If Ramy's 100% on, Rulli wouldn't beat him. But I think if Ramy's a little off and Rulli comes in crisp, I think he's the most dangerous guy in that top 6.
And how do you see Kai Green?
I see Kai Green sipping a margarita in his house. I don't think we're going to see him on stage anytime soon.
Oh, come on. You really don't think he's going to come back?
No, if he would have done it, he would have done it. He should have done it the year Brandon won the Olympia. I'm not saying he would have beat Brandon, but he would have had his best chance of winning the Olympia that year. He's not getting any younger. I don't think he has any desire to compete because you know what? He would have already. Look, Phil Heath came back. I would have thought I would have seen Kai Green before I would have seen Phil Heath. Phil at least threw it on the, put it out there, And I think Kai seeing Phil come back and not be at his best maybe even made him a little more gun shy at this point, because if Kai comes back and doesn't win, okay, his stock goes down. Not his fan following, his stock. Everyone wants to think Kai can come back and win the Olympia because we remember him at his best. Maybe he's not his best anymore. When we called it with Phil ring rust. You don't get on stage for so many years. It's not so easy anymore.
But you see him around, right? And he still has that crazy muscle size, thickness, crazy biceps peak.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I don't think we're going to ever see it. I don't think so.
No?
Yeah. I don't think so.
I have a feeling, because look, you were a competitor as well.
Yeah.
And I was a competitor. Okay, you didn't make it to the pros, but you were that close.
Yeah.
If there was a couple more years that you knew like, oh shit, maybe this year I can turn as a pro.
Right.
Maybe you would be encouraged to do it.
Right.
For me, when I was competing, you see, I never planned to beat Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levroni, right. Sean, and so so I was just one of the guys. So I didn't have a maybe incentive.
Right.
But Kai was second so many times, and he believes that he could have won. And when you have that kind of size and polished physique, I mean, he had a striation upon striation, lats, quadriceps, all this stuff. The quality, maybe that Ramy doesn't have.
Yeah.
When you compare it, Ramy from the back is okay, but Kai from the back, you can see every fiber from spine all the way out to the attachments of the lats, cross-threaded deep striations on the quads, and better arms than the Ramy. Mm-hmm. Better arms. So can he match the size? Can he match conditioning?
Yeah.
I think Kai has everything in his life right now, but once a competitor, always competitor. I'm sure that his dream is to be Mr. Olympia. I would, really have a feeling that he's going to enter. He's with Redcon now. They probably know a little bit more than we do. When you sign something like this for a big contract, maybe there is some hope for doing something.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I could see Kai teasing us for the next 5 years that he might compete, just to keep people's guessing, so to speak. Throw a few pictures out there, a couple of posing videos to let. Obviously, look, he still has the tool set to do it. I think what happens after, look, Milos, you actually gave me the perfect reason why he won't do it. I had been interviewing you about a year ago, and you had said, when you went on that streak where you were competing like 20 times a year, and then you stopped and took a little time off, you almost lost you almost like said to yourself, how the heck did I do that? I don't even know how I even did that many shows, because I don't even want to even ever compete again now. You lost like that. You got out of the rat race, or off the track, so to speak. And now all of a sudden you reevaluated things, and you didn't have that same mindset anymore. I think once Kai took himself out of the race, so to speak, it's almost like he's looking in from outside and he's saying, you know what, let those guys run. I don't want to run anymore. I'm making good money for myself. I'm popular. I can be creative and do all my little creative endeavors, my variety show, and I'm sure he's doing his art and all the other little projects he got. I think he gets more pleasure out of that. He likes to eat. He can eat what he wants. He doesn't have to worry about dieting and torturing himself for 16 weeks. I think he's just over it. I think that's maybe where he's at right now. Now, I think if like AMI or someone came in with a big offer and said, hey, look, we're going to put up this much money, if you get your butt in shape and, or we'll match your prize. I don't know. Maybe if someone put an offer on the table like that, or maybe if Redcon, put up some money and said, hey, Kai, if you compete, I'll give you, we'll match your prize money. That might be an incentive for him to do it, but I think right now I think he's just happy. He doesn't need to.
He is happy, but this is what I'll tell you. You're completely spot on. When I was competing up until '99, I entered every show, and then I wanted to take 2 months. I talked to Lee Haney. He told me, Milos, take a break. So don't go to the gym. So 2 months became 4, became 6 months, and then I lost the drive.
Yeah.
But 2007. I got that fire back, and I wanted to compete. And again, after I competed 72 times as a pro, 110 times in my life, you would think like I'm going to lose that drive, but that once competitor, always competitor. Okay, I can do it again. And I think it's about the time. I think that Kai would have that urge, because I didn't say my last word on the stage. This is how I see it. He's a phenomenal performer. He enjoys this. Would he want to award the world with one more crazy posing routine and be talk of the year, come back, win the title, then retire? I mean, he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it for just sheer possibility. He is that good that he can take the title. And look at Conor McGregor. Did Conor McGregor need to come back and fight Dustin Poirier? He has about a couple of $1 billion in his bank account, but he's a competitor.
Right, but the money definitely was an incentive. I mean, if Kai was being offered, $5 million to do the Olympia, you'd see that he'd be dragging his ass to the gym, 3 times a day and get in the best shape of his life. There's not that carrot being dangled there, and that's, I think, where the issue is. He needs to be incentivized at this point. If he couldn't pay a cell phone bill like he couldn't 20 years ago, 15 years ago, there was a lot of drive there to get his butt to the gym and be the best bodybuilder he can because he wanted to make a living from the sport. Now he's making a comfortable living. He's got millions of followers. Yeah. He's in a good position. Maybe he needs to find himself a little hungrier, so to speak, to get himself back on stage. I think time's working against him though now, and I think that's the issue. Because he's not getting any younger, and you know what happens. Look, I don't have to tell you, things start breaking as you get older. So.
That's for sure. All right.
Who do you see as the next big thing that maybe would be coming out of the newer guys, the 20-year-olds, the Labradas, the Nick Walkers? Who do you think will be a breakout star in 5 years from now? Say.
I definitely see Hunter Labrada. I definitely see it. I mean, I was a huge fan of Lee, and Lee is his father, his genes, great shape. Tons of muscle, extremely smart, intelligent. Has that work ethics. I think he still need to make little improvements. I would still make his abs pop out, get deep, super deep, and have that aesthetic look of his father. A little bit more with that additional size. His conditioning, both times that I've seen him, was not spot on. If he just improves a little bit on conditioning, then you're gonna get a much more serious competitor. Nick Walker, oh my God, this is just like a absolute genetic freak. I saw him in Chicago and he impressed me. Just a little bit more of it in the right places. I mean, he's already a monster. He's somewhat shorter, but he was already, fourth in a tough lineup.
Yeah,
with Hakeem Williams and Rodriguez and Max Charles. I mean, I see 212 being very competitive now with Keon possibly competing, and George Peterson continuing to make improvements, and then Sean Clarida looking like absolute freak. I don't think Kamal is going to stop. I think he's going to keep going. So I see a huge fight in 212 with formidable guys. I'm excited about that, and there's tons more. That I'm now preparing Logan Franklin. Yeah, so of course he needs to close the gap. I mean, Chris is right now really dominant, and
right.
But Logan has one of that mentality that he just is going to do whatever it takes to feel he has a great structure, quality of muscle, and posing presentation is phenomenal. So if he put 20 pounds on him, he's going to be a contender.
Yeah, I think he's got a great physique. Actually, I thought he should have placed a little higher at the Olympia, but that classic physique division is really, really, really tough at the top right there. And I almost find it's just as interesting, I think. Obviously we all love bodybuilding. We want to see a lot of muscle, but I think it's just as interesting because the guys are so close to each other. And, there's a lot of excitement in that division. So that, we haven't seen that in a long time. And to have two divisions, actually three divisions, now the Claritas, that 212 division has really amped itself up. So we have three really competitive men's posing divisions. The men's physique is also very close. Obviously they don't pose, so I don't think there's much excitement around it, but I enjoy watching all three of those divisions, and so it'll be interesting to see. You think we'll ever see Chris Bumstead move up to the open, or even do like an open show?
No way. I just don't see it happening. I mean, you have to wonder, if you're super dominant and you're a poster child for this category, you're absolutely perfect, and you're dominant. Would you now go to the different league, be judged completely different? That now your structure and aesthetics and shape don't count as much as just sheer size.
Right.
So I really don't think so. I don't think that would be wise. The idea. Could he be competitive? Maybe if he adds some more size, could, but not really with the top guys. I mean, imagine him standing next to Rami and Brandon and Hadi Chupan and Akeem Williams. I want to mention Akeem Williams, who is really a breakthrough of the year. I mean, we all know how much muscle he has. And now when you realize that he can get in this kind of condition
Yeah.
and really analyze his structure, super small waist and that V-taper and thick muscle, strided legs. I mean, he is super impressive. He can move up. I mean, really, the way I see it,
Absolutely.
he is one of those freaks that has so much muscle mass and is still aesthetically
Pleasing.
Nice to look at. Yeah.
What about William Bonac? Does he come back next year or this year, I should say, and dominate in a couple shows? Are we going to see him like maybe do an Arnold Classic and an Olympia?
Yeah, I mean, he's perennial contender. He's always there. Could he place higher? Yes, I think. I didn't see him so off. Especially now when I reanalyze all the pictures and the videos. And I don't know how you do it, but many times when I'm at the show, there's just a few seconds you can glance at everybody.
Right.
And then if you're not close to the stage, then maybe you look at the screen and then go back to the stage and all this stuff. And you just don't have enough time to give honest assessment. Then you go back and you watch the videos and pictures and say, damn, I didn't see that. So William, okay, I think, I don't know if he was maybe penalized a little bit for, slight gynecomastia, maybe. But size-wise, conditioning-wise, he wasn't, that much off. And he would normally, with this kind of presentation, rank higher, but this time they put him all the way down to 5th place. If he shows up, dry as he's ever been, yeah, he would be right back in the circle.
Milos, question. Do we see Phil Heath back in an Olympia lineup or any bodybuilding stage for that matter? Or do you think he's done?
I don't think Olympia, but I do think the Athleticon show. Yeah, I do think so. Look, let's face it. We established Phil at his best is unbelievable. He had that 3D look and something special about him. And that's why he won 7th Olympia. This year, he just didn't bring exactly the same thing, okay? And you were saying at first that his midsection is never going to be fixed. And you were right. That's the one part that was not there. It's not going to ever be there.
Right.
But also he lost that fullness, striations, and just like pop-out look.
Yeah.
But he wasn't that far off. I mean, he was still second after prejudging, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he was completely dominated. Long judging didn't work to his favor because he couldn't control his abs. And here comes, Les and Rami, and then is James posed hours every day, and they were prepared for a long battle.
Yeah.
This is just like if you're going into the MMA match, and Phil Heath was preparing for one round. There's 5 rounds.
Right.
If you don't win in the first, you're in trouble. So if he can manage that, then listen, I always practice this: glue your stomach to the spine. Be like this 24 hours a day. Anything you do, like just keep it. Maybe it would be possible for him. He had that surgery, but even yesterday they had a comparison, 2020 and 2011. Phil Heath in an ab shot. Yeah, it's a difference, but if you just improve a little bit more here, he can still be competitive. And I think that he's going to do that athletically.
You know what, sure. Milos? Look, I never won an Olympia. You never won an Olympia. If I won 7 Olympias, okay, and I know that I don't have the firepower anymore to go in there and beat these guys handily, which I was doing for 7 years, I don't know if I want to get back up on stage. Unless someone's stuffing my money full of a lot of, my pockets full of a lot of money. All he can do is, why would he want to be less than his best? He was so good and he had so many tools and at his disposal when he was at his best. It's like now he's fighting these guys with one hand tied behind his back. I wouldn't put myself in that position if I were him. He doesn't need to. He's got he's got nothing to prove.
He's training in a gym. He looks at his goddamn biceps, triceps, looks just the same. He looks at his legs. Pretty much there. I'm close, right?
Yeah.
So seriously, I mean, many times you look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I'm not all there, but I know that in another month or 2 I can be there. I see that happening. He still has the formidable physique, crazy shoulders, crazy chest, arms. I mean, he was great contender in many poses. But he has a contract, right, with Rock. So why would he do it? If you have a 2-year deal, and that deal included a competition, Athleticon, and it's not going to be this year, it's going to be next year, you're going to maybe have to fulfill your contract. I had a contract with Weider, and nobody even knew that. 2001, I had a shoulder surgery, 8 weeks before the contest, and I didn't say anything. But then they said, you must compete. I said, oh, I must compete, because of my contract. I had a surgery, and they came to my gym, and I was actually in a sling and everything, but covered. And somebody, even tapped me on the shoulder, like, oh shit. But so what do? Tell them, hey, listen, I changed my mind, I can't do it, and then lose the contract. So I just competed anyway.
Right.
But I assume that Rock's contract with Phil is not any normal bodybuilding contract. This is like God knows how many millions, and potential to make so much more. They did this documentary. I'm sure that they have much more plans.
Right, but why would The Rock want to portray Phil at anything less than his best? He could just use him as a marketing machine, kind of like the way Kai Green's been. Maybe that's why Kai Green doesn't want to go on stage. Yeah, in a tank top, he hits an arm shot, he looks freaky, but he knows that maybe I don't have the firepower on a stage, aesthetically speaking, that I had 5 years ago. So why put it out there? Maybe I'll just tease people with the body parts that I still have, my legs, my arms, my chest, give them, dazzle them on social media, let everyone buy everything I got and want more Kai. And that's where he's really got the power now to market himself, because he has the legacy already behind him. He's got some freaky stuff still showing on, so he's going to keep people interested in himself. But yet people don't really know, hey, what if Kai got on the Olympia stage? Would he win? Would he not win? I don't know. Well, Kai's not going to let you know. It's almost better not to even tell people what you got, or what you don't have, so to speak,
Yes, but okay, let's look at this. Earlier last year, Dexter Jackson, at the age of 50, placed second at Arnold Classic, looking spectacular, right?
Yeah.
So can you, at age of 50, still be competitive? Then I go back in 1991. I competed with 61-year-old Albert Backless, who beat us all in Niagara Falls Pro Invitational. 61-year-old man, right? So, where's the limit? So
right.
Many guys would think like this, I still got it. He could do it, why not me? I mean, this is what I see it. If Phil Heath didn't think he can win this Olympia, I'm sure he wouldn't have entered. So for a mindset, if you have a mindset, oh, I cannot win, therefore I'm not going to compete, why bother? But his mindset had to be that, I still have what it takes. I can take these guys. Yeah. You could see that his confidence was not the same on the stage, and he probably realized this when he got himself in trouble and he couldn't breathe and keep his stomach, so that's realization on the spot. It's too late. Could he fix that next time? Could he be a little bit better? Hey, he was still second after prejudging. I mean, that's so you have naysayers and then you have fans, and fans, you still have it. Do it.
If Phil wasn't 7-time Mr. Olympia, would he have been second after prejudging?
Sorry?
If Phil wasn't a 7-time Mr. Olympia, would he have been second place after prejudging?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. So, I'm glad you said that, because that's the truth. He probably wouldn't have been. So, all right. We'll leave it at that. I love the mystery. I love the debate. I love the speculation. It's fun. Milos, go get your vaccine so we can see you out at all these shows. And let me know if you don't drop dead from the vaccine, I'll get one too.
All right. I'll let you know for sure.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And that's going to take us to the end of another episode of GuruTalk. I'm Dave Palumbo for Milos Sarcev. We'll see you next time.
All right.